30-plus assists tonight. How much of that ball movement do you think was a product of playing a little bit faster?
Faster, and that they duplicated what Detroit did the other night, and we saw that and tried to work on it and improve, and we did tonight. Strong in the pocket, and I think only had two or three turnovers at half, so we took care of it. Alpi made great decisions and got our spacing a little bit better, so very similar, and we capitalized on that tonight.
The Nets started to make a little run there at the end of the second half, cut it to 9. What did you tell your guys in the locker room?
Yeah, we are scoring well enough, obviously, to have 71, and to give up 60 is not to our standard defensively, especially when we, built the 20-point lead. It was just some sloppiness there, and the fouls that kind of added up, and so weren't happy at halftime to be only up, by 11, and then great third quarter response, 32-17. We gave up 12 threes at the half and only 3 in the second half, so we locked in on the shooters and didn't foul as much.
What is the difference you've seen in the pace with starting Josh tonight instead of Steven?
Yeah, I think it's some to do with size for sure, but it's also getting stops. Guarding them a little bit better than we did the first 2 games until the end there. I mean, we held them up under 100 for the most part, and we've always been good formula for us. Like I say, defense to offense, getting out and running, and then got multiple guys pushing. So could be a product of the size, but I think our defense was on point, especially in that second quarter or third quarter.
What did you like about Reed's second half in particular?
Yeah, he stayed aggressive. He's the guy that we want to hunt certain shots and make the plays. So it's a little bit of both. And as well as our men, we need those guys to score in pick and roll, score off the ball, and beat threats off of Alpi, Amen, and Kevin. And so he found the spots, was aggressive there, and then made some really good reads out of pick and roll. And so continue to build on that, stay aggressive like we always say, and be confident.
What about Tari tonight when he did just some both into the court?
Yeah, it's a great night when he does those things. He's the epitome of turning defense to offense, and comes up with the loose balls, but also can be a recipient off those guys. Shot it extremely well, was confident there, and like I said, our spacing in general was much better. And like I said, when a team loads up the paint or is in the hard hedge, we know we just get it to the big inside, and he'll find the right guys outside. And Alpi did a good job. Guys are ready to shoot it.
What are those type of shots you want Reed to be hunting, and how can his teammates help kind of fuel that for him?
Yeah, what I just said, like the spacing and, the threat he is off the ball. Teams are going to blitz Alperin in the post. Teams are going to blitz KD in the pick and roll. And our men gets downhill so well that you just got to get to the right spots and be an outlet. And so he did that in the pick and roll as well, being patient, setting his guys up and letting the screens come. And he can walk into some of those threes as well. So going to need him to continue to grow in that area on and off ball to be that threat and be a secondary ball handler out there a lot of times.
Of course, KD, it's good to have KD knowing that he can score 30 points at any time, but what does it say about your team that he had an efficient 19 points, but only 19 points tonight, but you're still able to score over 130?
Yeah, it's the crowd and attention he draws on a nightly basis. We're going to have to drill that all season to be ready for that, but like we said, we didn't take advantage against Detroit when they blitzed him every time, and we did a much better job tonight. So we're gonna be in that situation a lot, and he's a very willing passer that has the size to pass over the double teams, and it's up to the other guys to play a 4-on-3 behind. And so he'll take that. Didn't play the fourth quarter, and so it's good to get him to rest. But he's about to win anyway, and if he has to be a decoy at times, he'll do that.
But the way that you all played tonight, was that just a product of the way that you all practiced after the Detroit game?
Yeah, like I said, there were some similarities, and Toronto will do the same thing with how they defend, aggressive on the ball in the pick and rolls and crowding the paint. So you got to be strong within there, not turn it over. And like I said, teams should really fear Alperin in the pocket being a playmaker, and so we just have to make them pay with that, and we did tonight.
Is it a point of emphasis not just for Alpi but for everybody when they bring the ball up to try and find that weak side corner 3 shooter?
Yeah, I think we want to get more up. We were low in the league last year, and like I said, if we're being doubled that much, the swing should be there to get to the corner 3. And so even tonight we were a little bit slow reversing it out of the double team, but for the most part we want to hunt those in transition and Alpin in the pocket. The low man has to come across and help, and he's really good at finding that.
Coach, how important is it for you to have Van Vliet sitting next to your coaches, and for him to, after every play, after every timeout, he goes to the players and what he sees being on the sideline? How important is it for you to have him with you and with the coaches?
Yeah, I said earlier today that he's an extension of us, whether he's playing or not, and he pulls guys aside and tells them what he sees, and did the same thing when he was playing, but now it's in a different role, and so he's constantly talking to the young guys about running that pick and roll and telling them what he sees. So it's good to have that voice coming from players, not just from us.
Also, I noticed that your coaching staff, they all wear white and black Nikes. He was wearing green shoes. He didn't get the memo.
Fred? I didn't notice.
Thank you.